Good morning, amazing people. It's another beautiful Tuesday morning. It's a beautiful, beautiful week. Today, I want us to dive into a critical business need resilience. But actually, here's the twist because building resilience does not necessarily mean having to break the bank. So many small and mid sized businesses believe that when we are talking about resilience, they need expensive technology, they need endless resources, but that is a myth. You can build a strong, adaptable, as well as secure network. You can build a strong, adaptable, secure business without thinking about the FT tag price. You don't have to think about the FT price tag. It's really important that you put that into consideration. And interestingly, when people hear any part that discusses a price reduction, the first thing that comes into their mind is that they assume they are getting less. But today, I need us to move that mindset shift and think in a different direction. This is how I need you to think. I need you to look at it like you are building an unfair advantage because you are creating a strong foundation for your business. You are creating a strong foundation not only for your business but also for yourself. The goal is to create a resilient foundation for your organization's growth. Most importantly, I want us to look at it in this direction. If you try to build a skyscraper on just the foundation of sand, you will only pour the sand and there is no concrete slab. Now you need to understand that for you to get a reinforced foundation, you need to build what is called a reinforced concrete lab. Now, that lab does not necessarily generate money for you on the first day. No. What it will allow you to do is to be able to build higher, faster, and safer than everyone else. If there is a problem with a house, the first thing that you need to look out for is the foundation of that house. What that is saying is that you need to build a strong foundation for your business growth. That is what we are going to be building today. I want you to think about your business like a well built house. The truth is, you don't need a mansion to be safe from whatever problems that may be coming into the house. The most important thing is that you need to put the foundation as well as the basics first. Like I said about the foundation, what that means is you need to look at your employee training, you need to look at your phishing awareness training, you need to look at your incident response plan, look at your backups, little, I'm going to call them controls. The little things, the little efforts that you are putting in are the ones that will not only give you a resilient foundation, but they will also allow you to ensure that you have a strong roof as well as a lock on the door. If you are going to build a house, it's like someone that is bringing in people for a reunion. Let me use that example. If you're going to bring in people for a reunion, you're not going to start creating expensive alarm systems on the first day. No, you may not even have that money or that means. What you can do is that you ensure that the little things have to be in place. For example, make sure that you have a good door, make sure that your windows are great, make sure that you have very good locks, make sure that at least most of the roof is strong, the roof is not leaking. Those are the little tiny efforts that you want to put in, not necessarily the pricey ones. You need to ensure that all your doors for the rooms all have locks. You don't necessarily have to put in alarm systems. You don't have to put in vaults. The most important is that you put in the basics. That is what's one of the factors I need us to discuss today. You need to know that the key is shifting from chasing what is called pricey tools to focusing on what will actually protect your business most efficiently. I want us to focus today on what will protect your business most efficiently. Too many of us are so focused on, oh, I use this tool, I use this kind of initiative. Those are not the strategies that you should be thinking about. Think about what will help your business not only move forward but grow in a strong as well as resilient direction. Now, there's a particular framework that I use. It's a four-step framework, and I call them the 4 A's of affordable resilience. Now, what this framework helps me to do is that it gives me what is called affordable resilience, keeps my resilience efforts practical as well as sustainable. That's what it does for me. It's not necessarily because you have to use the framework, but because I use this framework and it's worked well for me, I'm giving it to you. Now, the first A is assess. The first A is assess. Over time, we have always talked about this. I need you to know your risk. Know your risk. Not all risks need the same priority, neither do they need the same form of investment. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't know what you are supposed to be protecting in the first place, how do you know the strategies you should be putting in place? So the first A, know the real risk. The second A is adapt. I need you to put in what is called smart, scalable solutions. Remember what I just said? Smart, scalable solutions. Now, what this means is that even when the tools are smart, the strategies you are putting in place are smart, they also need to be scalable. Scalable means that after a period of time, just like you are placing the foundation of a house, you can keep building on it. It's like a moat. You can keep building on it. You can keep adding to it to enhance it dependent on your business size and needs. That means no matter how much you grow, no matter how much your needs are changing, that tool does not have to change because it is scalable. It is helping you to adapt to not only your organization size, but also your needs. Now, the third one, which is going to be a bit controversial, but I have used over time, is automation. Automation. One of the biggest lessons I have learned in this time is that automation makes a lot of sense, especially in situations where it will help you to save costs as well as reduce errors. That's one of the reasons why I love automation. Apart from the fact that it's going to reduce on the human efforts, let me use that. It's going to reduce on the human efforts. Once they are put in place, all you need to do is monitor them. It's going to reduce on the human effort. It's going to cost you less money because most of them are actually cloud based. And interestingly, I will advise that you leverage it when it makes sense because it will not only help you to save on your cost as well as reduce errors, but it will also ensure that you are saving on a lot of money. Now, the fourth one is align. Align. When we are talking about resilience, one of the biggest challenges I have discovered that a lot of organizations have is aligning their efforts with their culture. You need to ensure that the efforts that you are putting in, you integrate resilience not only into your organization's daily routines, but you also integrate it into your organization's culture. That is the only way you can get maximum value without spending excessively. Believe me, if you integrate it into your everyday routine, if you integrate it into what your staff members are already doing, if you integrate it into what your organization's culture currently looks like, it will be easier for you to spend, not to reduce on the costs. Now, right now, what I need everyone to do, if you are watching me right now, what is the top resilience challenge that you have in your organization today? Tell me the top resilience challenge that you currently have in your organization. Let's work on that. As we work on that, I want us to look at some of the practical strategies that we can use in order to ensure that we are getting maximum impact for the tools that you are using to create resilience. When we are talking about resilience, I already told you what resilience is. Resilience is not, it's just like the English word, something that works for you over time, something that is strong, something that has the ability to be able to weather storms. So, if you are trying to build a resilient infrastructure, a resilient security infrastructure for your business, it is extremely important that what you are thinking about when it comes to reducing on the cost, or when we are talking about the price tag, you are only thinking about building a solid foundation. That's the first mindset I need you to have. It's a shift. I need you to shift your mindset into thinking about the fact that I am only building a foundation for my business. As we grow, as our needs changes, as the size of our organization changes, we will continue to increase the things, as well as the sources, as well as the efforts that we are adding to our current states. Now, let's look at some of the effective um, cost business strategies that I need you to look at. If you need to keep your business agile, if you need to keep it secure, and most importantly, if you want to be ready for whatever is coming next and be resilient, the first thing I need you to do is conduct what is called a risk prioritization workshop. A risk prioritization workshop. Now, what is a risk prioritization workshop? A risk prioritization workshop is a kind of meeting. I'm going to call it a kind of a form of meeting where all the stakeholders, when we are talking about stakeholders at this time, we are talking about everyone that is involved in the security efforts for your organization. Every member of your organization is involved. But who are those that have to deal and work with it directly, that you are going to need their inputs in order to ensure that you are working right when it comes to your cybersecurity efforts? Those are the people that you want to bring in. If you have a cybersecurity team, your IT team, probably some members of the board, then usually I find out project management team members, marketing people a lot of time as well. The clients class, those that deals with client relationships, also are a part of this team that you want to put in. Then if you have much more than one technical team, I will advise that you bring in every department in that technical team, not necessarily just IT. Make sure that at least you have representation from each member of this department. Now, if it was me, since it's a small or since it's a small or a medium-sized business, I would ensure that everyone, at least one person from each department, is represented. Each person from each department is represented. What you do at this risk prioritization workshop is the fact that you are going to be able to identify the resources that you need. You will not only identify the resources that you need to prioritize, I'm going to use the word prioritize. You are going to assess them. Then, when you assess them, you are going to ensure that you know the strategies that you want to put in place. You know the strategies that you want to put in place. It's very important that you know the strategies that you want to put in place, because by identifying them, the first thing is you identify them, you assess them. When I talk about identifying them, I'm talking about the risks that are involved with each of these assets. You need to identify the risk involved, then access them. The essence of accessing them is to look at what is the likelihood, as well as the impacts that those risks can have on your current assets, on your business operations. That's one of the reasons why it is extremely important that you do an assessment. Then number three, you need to prioritize them. Prioritize. When I talk about prioritization means you place them on a scale. I think in economics it's called an opportunity cost. Place a priority list. This is needed, this is needed, this is needed, this can affect our operations, this can, place them on a list of, give them priorities. It's very, very important that you give them priorities before you now start developing the strategies. If you know the reason I'm asking that you prioritize them is that it's going to allow you to know which of the risk can affect you and give you the worst kind of impact. If you know the kind of risk, I'm going to use the word risk, that will give you the biggest forms of impact, that way you can put in your efforts into those ones first to ensure that the impact is minimized or the impact does not take place at all. I also need you to develop strategies for them. It's very important that you develop strategies for them. Then the second thing I need you to do is use what you already have. Believe me, a lot of times, just like the doors in the house, if you are going to have a reunion, you don't necessarily have to bring in an alarm system. You don't have to start bringing in new things. Just use what you already have. You have a light on the front porch, you have doors with locks, you already have some things in existence. Those are some of the factors I need you to put into consideration. Use what you already have. I need you to look at your strong passwords. I know a lot of you already have strong passwords. You already have multi-factor authentication. You already have training for your staff members in place. Those are factors that you need to consider and think about first. Start from there. Use what you already have. That way, you're not only minimizing on cost, you are also ensuring that your resilience is gaining what is called a stronger foundation. Number three, I need you to look at open source or low cost security tools. Now, it's not just about using open source or low cost security tools. You need to combine them with strong security policies. Remember what I just said. It's not just about using low cost or open source tools. You need to ensure that you combine them with strong security policies. What this is saying in essence is that one of the tools that you will need is a strong security policy. Ensure that you already have your security policies in place. Ensure that you have a very good security policy in place before you start looking at the tools that you want to use. Now, the reason I'm saying this is the fact that sometimes you can use open source, you can use free tools, but in a lot of instances, dependent on your need, dependent on the business need as well as the size, you might end up having to pay for some tools. There may be a need for you to pay for some tools. That is why we are looking at the low cost, efficient ones. Make sure that the tool is already working for you in the first place before you decide to go and pay for it. Now, the third one is that the fourth thing I need you to do is train your security members. You need to train them on simple, high value, what is called hygiene practices. Train them effectively. Train them effectively. Not just about a one time training that they just go for. No, this has to be something that is consistent. What I need you to look at is high value hygiene practices, but they will just be very simple. The clean desk policy, they should remember their password complexities, simple hygiene practices. Don't click on a link if you are not sure. If you are not sure, you need to escalate or call for help. Those are high value security hygiene practices. Don't leave documents out, especially when they are sensitive, unattended. These are things that they need to know. Then I will also advise that you embrace cloud services. A lot of people are very skeptical when it comes to cloud services, but I have observed and discovered that not only I'm not only talking in terms of security right now. I'm talking in terms of how well they can help you to save money. The reason is because, let's put the security aspect aside. When you use a lot of cloud tools, you are saving a lot of costs because the infrastructure is not inside of your environment. That means you are not responsible for building the infrastructure. And that exactly is the same way it will work in terms of your security. Because when you are using cloud based services, most of them already have built in resilience. Believe me, you still need to do some things in house, but based off of the fact that most of them already have inbuilt resilience, is going to help you save a lot on your security efforts because you will be spending a lot of money to put in some infrastructure in place. Now, the last thing I need you to do, the last strategy I need you to practice is automate monitoring. You need to monitor, like your life depends on it. So I will advise that you automate your monitoring as well as the alerts. I think I already mentioned this in one of the sessions, but it's very important that you put in monitoring systems in place for your security, cyber security efforts. I'm going to use that word. Your controls, your strategies. It's very important that you ensure that it's not a one-off thing. After you have done it, keep monitoring. But if I would advise that you ensure that the monitoring as well as alert system is automated. That will, it will not only allow for what is called early detection, but you will not need a large security team to start monitoring or looking for devices when they come in. When there's an attack, when there's a problem, you are going to detect it early. That way, you're already cutting out the use of a large security team because you will detect. It's like someone that goes for a pap smear. What's one of the reasons why we are asked to go for colonoscopies, pap smears, and stuff like that medically? The reason is because early detecting all these things early, detecting it early will not only allow you to curb a, a disease like cancer. It's not only going to allow you to curb a disease like cancer, it will also, I don't want to use the word detect anymore. It will also ensure that you are putting in your best, that's the word, you are putting in your best efforts before it deteriorates, before it gets bad. You already know what to do and you know how you are supposed to be doing it. Now, I did get a very interesting question. Let me read out that question. That question is saying, what are your barriers to building resilience in an affordable manner? What can be the barriers for me to build resilience in an affordable manner? I have discovered that over time, when it comes to affordable resilience, I'm going to use that phrase, affordable resilience. Small and mid-sized businesses face the same hurdles. Most times they face the same hurdles. Number one, usually, is limited budget as well as resources. They usually have problems with the resources. They have problems with the budget. Resources, I will use the word resources in this instance because they have smaller teams and they want to put immediate business priorities first. So, based off of that, it makes it kind of difficult for them to be able to invest upfront. That's one of the reasons I'm advising that you use the affordable tools and you do what is called early detection. That way, you are going to cut out on a lot of things ever before you need it. Now, the second problem that I have discovered that a lot of organizations, whether they are small businesses, mid-sized businesses, even large enterprises have, is what is called cultural resistance. Cultural resistance. Now, a lot of times when organizations hear cybersecurity, their walls come up. And the reason their walls are coming up is because they tend to see cybersecurity or security as obstacles or burdens instead of looking at it as a shared responsibility. So it is your job as a leader to ensure that everyone within your organization perceives cybersecurity as a shared responsibility. If they see it as a shared responsibility, they will not see it as obstacles, they will not see it as burdens. Instead, they will not think about the fact that it is limiting the adoption of whatever they want to do. They will see it as a way for the organization to be able to grow to its highest level. So I'm going to advise that you ensure that cultural resistance does not come into play in the first place if you ensure that your staff members see cybersecurity as a shared responsibility. Now, number three is misaligned priorities. Too many leaders focus on growth as well as revenue, and by doing this, they undermine the kind of risk or the kind of disruptions that may come up within their organizations, within with the efforts that they are putting in. So if you do not prioritize, that's one of the reasons why I'm asking that during the risk prioritization workshops or the meetings that you have, ensure you have a priority list. By creating a priority list, you know what each department needs to focus on. Who is focusing on growth? Who is focusing on revenue? Who is focusing on client relationships? Who wants to focus on the technical aspects? That is the only way you can synchronize and ensure that everything is working together as one. Then, fourth one, tool overload. I have seen too many instances with a lot of clients. Believe me, this is a problem I see every time. Once you see a flashy product is looking all good, is looking all shiny, everyone wants to be a part of it, then they start buying into it. Interestingly, then you have 10 tools doing the same thing. Tool overload. The interesting thing about tool overload is that it brings in what is called vendor confusion, which becomes one of the biggest challenges that your business can have. So minimize on tool overload. Don't go for all the shiny, shiny stuff. The fact that it's looking shiny and flashy right now does not make it right for your business. Choose the right cost effective tools for your business. So this is going to be my challenge for us today. I always give us homework. What I want you to look at today is look at one activity within your business, within your organization that you can start now or that you can improve on this week. Your goal is to look at a task. I'm going to use the word a task, an activity that you can improve on this week. Now, ensure that that effort does not require a big budget. Believe me, it's something that has to be minimal, simple, easy to do. It can be updating on your policies, it can be working on your backup plans, it can be ensuring that you have a good backup system. It can be ensuring that you have a lot of your controls, the simple controls like your password checks, like your multi-factor authentication checks. Is just simple. I need you to look at just one activity this week. Now, by looking at that activity, I need you to create, I'm going to use the word a checklist. Create a checklist. Now, the goal of this checklist is to ensure that after you have looked at all the efforts that you want to put in this week, it can be just two, it can be just three, place them according to the priorities dependent on what you want to do this week. Then tick them as you ensure that you do them. Like I said, they don't have to be big deals. They don't have to be things that will take a lot of time or take a lot of priority. Believe me. Resilience is usually about making smart choices. It's not about spending big money. So I want you to ensure that you are putting in your best efforts this week to make sure you are getting the best results. I want to thank you again for joining me for this session. You know, this is our community. If you have questions, don't forget to send them in the chat. Don't forget to put them in the comments. That way, we can have all your questions answered. Until I see you again on Thursday, I want you to have an amazing week. Don't forget, resilience is not about the big spend, it's about making the smart choices. I'll see you on Thursday.